If you've got children and have been researching moving to our area, you've probably discovered Niceville. So stick around. We're going to give you the best neighborhoods to move if you've got children.
So we're going to start off talking about the top 3 neighborhoods that we would suggest for families here in Niceville. And then we'll give you guys some details on Niceville in case you have not been watching our YouTube videos and you need a little bit more information like cost of living, things to do with your kids, things to do in the area with your kids, and even a little section about your pups in case you've got any of those.
At least for me, my favorite neighborhood is going to be Blue Water Bay when it comes to a great place to raise children. And this is because you can find houses in multiple price points and there's a huge area. So you've got multiple little neighborhoods kind of within the Blue Water Bay area. So this is kind of a cheat, if you will, because you've got neighborhoods within a neighborhood. But there's so many people in there. It's very well established, lots of children to play with. And like I said, little different areas so you can kind of pick your personality, if you will, if you want like a smaller area with sidewalks, or maybe you want a bigger area that, maybe your children have bicycles, but you don't want them actually leaving the immediate area to go play with their friends. Maybe you want to keep them in a more, a smaller environment, but still have enough room to stretch their legs. So you have all of that available to you in a very secluded kind of area. You're not so close to the main road. You're going to have John Sims there, and that's a very, very busy road. But all of Blue Water Bay kind of sits a little bit further down from there. You're pretty well insulated from that area, but you're still close to it. So maybe you don't want to cook that night and you don't feel like going to the marina for dinner. You can get some fast food or some really great Italian food. Actually, you've got a couple of options right there near Blue Water Bay, right off of John Sims or 20, however you want to call it. So, Military Mondays over at Tizano's. So if you're moving to our area because you're military, you get a bit of a discount on Mondays. And I think kids eat for free on, maybe it's Tuesday. No, that's over at Applebee's. My bad. Just kidding. But
same.
same. But that just kind of makes Niceville even better because, you've got discounts for veterans. You've got children eating free. You've got great neighborhoods. But Mongo, you know a lot about Blue Water Bay. What are your favorite points there for folks with children?
Well, I definitely like all of the amenities. So depending on the age of your children, some of these amenities are going to be better than others. For instance, they have a phenomenal golf course. I've got to talk about the golf while we're here. So yeah, great golf course. In fact, when we were shooting our last Blue Water Bay video, our drone got stuck up in one of those trees because somebody is not that skilled at flying them. But we did get it back like 6 months later, luckily. So it was kind of nice. But so you've got like I said, a professional golf course there. And of course, they've got a grill there as well. So whenever you're done or midway through your golfing session, you can go grab some food. There are tennis courts. We've got a marina that AJ just mentioned. There's a restaurant attached as well. It's beautiful views, by the way, especially if you go there during sunset. Great. And of course, they have parks, playgrounds, and of course, a few pools.
Now, if you're like me and you need a little bit more motivation to go to the gym sometimes, Blue Water Fitness makes it pretty easy because they have a kids zone. So I don't know about you, but for me, it's really a bit more motivating when I have someone to go with me. And sometimes it's hard to schedule that because of childcare. I homeschool. So if any of you are homeschooling parents and you're like, what do I do with my child during this time? This is a great opportunity for you to go do something for yourself, a little bit of self-care, self-love while the children are taken care of, still protected, and can meet some friends. This is a great opportunity to meet people in the area when you're new. Let your kid meet some more kids and make friends, possibly for, a long time. I know that's always, kind of a goal as parents is meet great people, make great friends that are lasting relationships for our children, always thinking about the future. So this is just one more really great amenity for those of you with children.
Before we jump into our next 2 neighborhoods and then some other details about Niceville that we think you guys need to know if you are considering moving down here, we did want to thank you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. If you are brand new, also thank you. And please consider hitting that little subscribe button that's going to pop up right here and ding that little bell so that you'll be notified every single time we do a new video.
We have been getting calls, texts, emails, just all kinds of different communications from you guys, and we absolutely love it. Even if you just want to kind of comment down below, we will respond to that as well. We're real people, and we love working with you you guys. So if you do reach out to us, just let us know, hey, we're coming to town, or we're curious about the area. Whatever questions that you have, we have plenty of answers for you. And if we don't have the exact one that you're looking for, we will get it for you. So go ahead and, use any of the information that's on the screen right now to get in contact with us, and we will get back to you.
I don't know why I always feel like I gotta be Vanna White with that.
You must be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spoon fingers.
So the next neighborhood that I want to get into is Deer Moss Creek. This is by far, well, not by far, it is by a small margin my favorite neighborhood in Niceville. In fact, it's one of my favorite neighborhoods in our entire area because it is one of the few master plan communities that we have here. We do not have a lot of master plan communities like Texas and a bunch of other states that have a bunch of land. They're doing this. What this means is they've thought about the entire neighborhood before each phase goes up. So in phase one, it was primarily single family homes, and then from there, as they continue to build each phase, there's going to be different things. There's going to be some townhomes, there's going to be condos, there's going to be not industrial, what do you call it, retail stores. You're going to have grocery stores right in here, and the intent is that you can stay inside of this master plan community and never ever leave it.
Never leave. Something that is a little bit different about this neighborhood that is special to me is one of my friends actually builds in this neighborhood, and his builds are amazing. I mean, amazing. There's nothing, short of basically perfect that goes into his builds. So if you guys are considering Deer Moss Creek, definitely get in touch with us. Let me set you up with a great custom builder in there that will make sure that your house is pretty much the best one. I mean, aside from maybe any of his other builds, but it'll be better than anyone else's house that isn't built by him.
The really cool thing about this is Ruckel Properties, which actually owns the subdivision and has helped building it out and develop everything. They're very particular about the builders that they allow in here. So you are going to be paying in upper echelon of prices. I would call this probably in about the 600 and up range as of the time of shooting this in 2023. Of course, prices are always varying, but the builders are top notch. They're vetted, they're experienced, they know what they're doing, and they build an absolutely stunning home. They wanted to make sure that Deer Moss Creek had a certain aesthetic look, especially during phase one, because that is kind of the entry point into the neighborhood. Now, there will be other entry points as well, but this is going to be a main hub, and it was where they were starting. So very cool there if you guys are looking for something absolutely beautiful, stunning, great neighborhood, nice walking paths, trails. You've got a ton of different amenities too. Then Deer Moss Creek is definitely a big bonus for you.
Something that I love about this particular neighborhood is their sidewalks. Their sidewalks are, I feel like they're wider than other people's sidewalks by sometimes like double the margin. It's a very, very safe area for how big it's going to be. It's still kind of small right now. It's one of those like everybody knows everybody kind of neighborhoods. So definitely one of those places where if you move in, you're probably going to meet everyone pretty quickly. And there are plenty of children there for your children to play with.
Now, the third neighborhood on our list is, of course, Swift Creek.
Swift Creek is another very beautiful subdivision, still in the 600-700s at the time of shooting this video. One of the great parts of this is that it's kind of in a different area. So Blue Water Bay really has its own area over to the east a bit. This is a bit further to the west, so closer to the college. So really great if you're thinking towards the future. Obviously, anywhere in Niceville, you're going to have great schools according to the data that we found on Google. You can go and research all of their ratings, and you'll see that a lot of successful people went to school in Niceville, actually. But you've got the college right there. So if you wanted your child to be able to grow up and, live in the same house and then still be able to attend college while staying at home, maybe save some, housing fees, or maybe you're ready to have them move on faster. There are some apartments close by as well, so they're still close to home. But you also have stuff for the younger children. So just down Palm, which is just to the west of Swift Creek, if you go straight down Palm, then you have one of the largest children's parks that I've ever encountered. There are multiple playgrounds in one. You've got a splash pad. You've got multiple, obstacle courses, if you will, for the children to climb on. And so you see...
You've got a bubble machine too, just saying.
Oh yeah, Sage loves the bubble machine. The kids can run up and push the button and then there are bubbles, and that's like the best place for the kids to meet more kids. And they've got, these like sandbox things that are elevated that they can play in without actually climbing into. So minimize some of the sand that's going to get back into your vehicle. Thank God. Some of it. It's also got, seating areas. So if you want to throw a birthday party there, it's really great for, basically all ages from walking up until,
35.
I don't know about that. Pretty close though. So it's a really great area, beautiful houses, not really so much, with the amenities of Deer Moss or Blue Water Bay, but still very nice, very comfortable, and very close again to everything because you're right there on College. You can get over to 20 pretty easily. So if you wanted to head east over into Destin, or if you want to take College over to 85, you can get up into Crestview or come back down into Fort Walton Beach. So it's very, very centrally located, a nice quiet area. And yeah, it's just a nice spot in Niceville.
Now, neighborhoods are only a portion of the equation. There are some other things that you need to know before moving to Niceville, Florida. So we're going to jump into those right now. We're going to start with cost of living.
In Niceville, housing seems to be about 5% higher than the national average, but everything else is pretty much right at the median, straight across the board. So your utilities, groceries, healthcare, all of these things are going to be pretty similar, especially if you compare them to our area specifically. Housing, on the other hand, especially the neighborhoods that we're talking about, they're going to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, please keep that in mind that this is not a snapshot. The prices that we talked about are not a snapshot of what Niceville looks like as a whole. These just happen to be a little bit more prestigious neighborhoods that were on our list today.
As far as proximity to stuff in Niceville, you're really very well centrally located. You're pretty close to the beach without having to be as nervous about like hurricane stuff as some of us that are like right on the water. So it's about a 20 to 30 minute drive, give or take, especially, once we get into peak season and lots of tourism, that could change. You're super close to multiple boat launches, multiple children's parks, even waterfront children's parks, so that you can kind of take in the aesthetics and enjoy the sunshine and the water, maybe read a book while the kids are playing together. It's very, very lovely. You're also only about 25 minutes probably, depending on where you are, to get over to Crestview. You're very close to Eglin if you're being stationed there, or Duke, or over to the group area. You're also close to the Fred Gannon State Park, which is absolutely gorgeous, and about 25 minutes, I would say, to get on to 10 if you needed to head east or west for any reason out of the area.
And of course, for some more outdoor activities, you are about 45 minutes to an hour away from Blackwater River State Park, where you can go kayaking, go tubing. There's a ton of small river beaches, which are way different than Gulf of Mexico beaches, by the way. But it is a great little park. There's hiking, there's camping. You can take your Jeeps out there. You can take your four-wheelers. They've got just all sorts of paths, and this park is huge. I've been here for, 15 years, 17, 18, whatever, however many years, and I still have not seen probably even a quarter of Blackwater River State Park.
Isn't that also where the zip lines are? Don't they have a zip line course over there?
I didn't know that. I learned something new.
Yeah, I actually went out there for a first date, actually,
really?
And went zip lining the course. It's something like, I don't know, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 different zip lines, and you have to like climb up these like tower poles that are pretty high up in the air, especially if you're kind of short like me. And you stand on these very small platforms with like 6 other whole humans up in the air, and then you like clip off, clip on, wax on, wax off. And you guys all climb together up these like crazy poles that are actually, I think they're living trees actually, that you're like clipped onto, and they're like swaying. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But so much fun. You just wear your helmet.
So maybe I've seen way less than a quarter of the park, because I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, I might have video of it somewhere, maybe. Anyways.
If we do, we'll throw that up. AJ on a first date.
No, just AJ ziplining. Don't worry about the first date part. Speaking of other like really great trails, there's also Turkey Creek. It's kind of like small but mighty. It's just like a really great kind of staple park of Niceville. You can go out there, and it's this boardwalk over like these marshes, and you can take them to various decks. There are multiple spots that you can put a tube into. And if you're not ready to get in the water, because that water is always freezing, always. If you get an injury, just go hold it like in that creek, because it's like putting it on ice, but it's not melting.
Seems like great medical advice.
Great medical advice. But it's a mile long, so you can go all the way out and then come back, run, walk, whatever. It's a great area for just putting your music in and just kind of moving, while you're outside and just taking it all in. I love taking Sage there. So no pets though. Don't bring your pups.
Now, the next thing we need to talk about is what it's going to look like to raise a family in Niceville. And because I've got absolutely no experience with that whatsoever, I'm going to pass this off to AJ to join my coffee. Let me know when you're finished.
All right, so that's kind of fair. So Niceville is a great area for raising children. I lived there for a while with my daughter, and it's very close knit. Just like I said, with Blue Water Bay or Deer Moss Creek, they're very, very close knit neighborhoods. So there are a couple areas that I definitely recommend over others when it comes to raising children. While Niceville itself has a pretty low crime rate and great schools, there are just some areas that lend themselves to being safer, like, with through traffic and things of that nature. You don't want someone that's going to just come speed right through your area to avoid traffic. So I really like those neighborhoods where you have maybe one or two entry points and not a lot of through traffic for that reason. Just, my child is a bit younger, and if yours is, that's a concern. Just sometimes they get out on the road and you want to make sure a vehicle has enough time to stop before an accident happens. And outside of the neighborhoods, there are also, like I said, all of these parks. And then if you haven't been over to Third Planet Brewery, thought I was going to mess that up, they have a great spot as well. They've got, a bar section, and then they swap out different food trucks. And they've got this outdoor area with live music and an enclosed area, actually, like open air, but kind of fenced in area where all the kids can play. You can bring your dog. There's lots of outdoor seating on benches. It's awesome. They have these huge bonfires once a year, and you can get the same thing actually over at Nick's Seafood, which is actually technically Freeport, but it's right on the water, and they'll do a large bonfire every year as well. It doesn't have like the same play area and such as Third Planet, but still a really great opportunity and really great food.
And of course, speaking of Third Planet, they will also let you bring your pup and even bring you a little dish for them so they can enjoy. It won't be beer. It shouldn't be beer, but they will bring you a dish full of water so that your pup can stay hydrated. Another consideration is, of course, the job market and what it's going to look like, because most people moving to Niceville will need some sort of employment. So the biggest one is obviously the military bases and anything DoD related in general, particularly because you're right outside of the Eglin Air Force Base side gate there. It's actually part of Valparaiso, which is a subsection of Niceville. Because of that, a lot of military members and a lot of DoD civilians in general are going to be living in Niceville. So that's, of course, going to be a very big opportunity for a lot of you guys. And outside of the military and the DoD, one of the other big employers is healthcare. So we've got Twin Cities Hospital right there. That seems to be a fairly big employer for Niceville as well.
If you're still with us, clearly you found some kind of beneficial information. So please go ahead and hit that like button for us so we can share this information with more people and help keep everybody as informed as possible. And we will see you at the next one.